Welcome to Chill Chaz Weekly. Today's update is all about the week of April 4th through April 10th, 2025, a week full of big changes, surprising moves, and important decisions. A lot happened in just 7 days. The president made some huge choices. Congress voted on bills that could change a lot of things, and the courts made rulings that could impact the lives of millions of people across the country. Let's start with what happened at the White House. On April 5th, President Trump used emergency powers to raise taxes, also called tariffs, on many goods that the U.S. buys from other countries. These tariffs, yes, were supposed to help American companies by making foreign goods more expensive. But only 4 days later, the government made things more serious. They raised tariffs on goods from China to as high as 145%. That means many things that come from China, like electronics, clothes, and tools, suddenly became much more expensive to import. Then, out of nowhere, the government said it would pause most of the new tariffs, except the ones on China. That quick change confused a lot of people. The stock market responded quickly. It went up, then down, as investors tried to figure out what the government was really planning. Experts called this back and forth economic whiplash. They said fast changes like this can make the economy feel uncertain and unstable for businesses and families. While that was happening, the courts were also busy, especially with immigration issues. The government tried to use a very old law from 1798, that's over 225 years ago, to deport people from Venezuela who were already in the United States. But judges stepped in and said, wait a minute, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, ruled that the government had to bring back a man they deported by mistake. A judge had already said he could stay, but he was sent away anyway. In another case, the court said people still have the right to go to court before being deported, even if the government uses that old 1798 law. That means people can still fight for their right to stay in the U.S. Over in Congress, lawmakers were working on big things too. House Republicans passed a huge budget plan worth $5 trillion. That's a lot of money. It would take 5 trillion $1 bills to match that number. The budget is supposed to help cut taxes and change how the government uses money in the future. It was the first big step in a long process, but it was a close call. The vote passed by only 2 votes. That's as close as it gets without failing. Lawmakers also voted on a bill called the SAVE Act. This law would make people show proof of citizenship, like a passport or birth certificate, before registering to vote in federal elections. Supporters say the bill would help make sure only U.S. citizens vote and that it would keep elections secure and fair. But others say the bill might make it too hard for some Americans to vote, especially people who don't have easy access to those documents. Right now, the bill has only passed in the House of Representatives. The Senate still needs to vote on it before it can become law. Meanwhile, outside the U.S., a lot was happening too. The United States made a prisoner trade with Russia. One American came home, and Russia got one of their people back in return. China responded to the new U.S. tariffs by raising their own tariffs. That means American products going to China also got more expensive. The European Union didn't add new tariffs yet. They said they want to wait and see what happens. That gave people a little hope that things might calm down. Even so, businesses and markets around the world were nervous. They don't like sudden changes, and all these fast moves made them worried. Back here in the US, regular people started to feel unsure too. Families are wondering if they'll have to pay more for groceries, gas, and everyday items. Prices could go up. It might be harder for people to get jobs. And workers might not get paid as much if the economy slows down. Some experts said the new trade rules might end up costing the average family thousands of dollars in the long run. So, what does all of this mean for you and your family? It means things can change really fast. One day, a new law is made. The next day, it's challenged in court, or it might be paused, or it might suddenly affect your wallet, even if you weren't paying attention before. Even if we're not the ones making the decisions, those decisions still reach us. In our schools, our homes, our paychecks, and our voting booths. That's your Chill Chaz Weekly Update. Thanks for tuning in. Stay sharp, stay informed. See you next week.